What's up, sisters? This is your boy, Beef, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we got an insanely fun build featuring the Dread Overlord Warlock subclass mod. This is one of my favorite mods for Baldur's Gate 3, and it's available on PC and console. This class is an absolute beast that would make for an insane Dark Urge solo run. The main reason this build is good for solo is because you are a true master of necromancy and summons with this subclass. Even more than a necromancer wizard or spore druid. This class just kind of scratches that itch for necromancy in a way that the base game doesn't really, or 5th edition for that matter. Before we get started, thanks so much for watching. If you like this build, let me know by liking the video, comment what you would do differently, and subscribe to the channel for more build guides like this. But without further ado, let's hop right into the build. At level 1, we are going for the Warlock class and the Dread Overlord subclass. This class is going to give us access to some really great abilities and passives. First, we get necrotic armaments, which is an ability that allows us to ignite your weapon with the Undying Emperor's Dark Fire for a short time, dealing an additional 1 to 4 necrotic damage. This uses a bonus action and just allows us to imbue our weapon with 1d4 necrotic damage. This is going to scale as we level up too, so this is really great, kind of like Green Flame Blade to be able to add to our weapon, but it does necrotic damage. We're also going to get Reclaim Undead, which is also going to cost a bonus action, but this is going to allow us to reclaim our what do you call them, our undead summons. Like as they're getting low on health, we can summon them, pull them back, and get a minion point. That way we can kind of keep going. We're also going to get Shield of Souls, which allows us to summon lost souls from the grave and form them into a protective shield around you. Finding additional souls to your soul shield conferred increased protection and unlocks the ability to invoke the spirits to do your bidding, whether for good or malintent. What this does is just allows us to, when we kill enemies, it allows us to get more, it allows us to raise our armor class by 1 per shield. And then we also get Create Crawling Claws, which is going to allow us to perform a grisly ritual on a corpse, animating a crawling claw that will fight for you. These are just like your first kind of summons that you get. You get these little hands that creep around and they swipe at enemies and do necrotic damage. Really cool. They also have Necrotic Vigor, dealing an additional 2 necrotic damage with their attacks, and are extremely mobile. Yeah, they have a very, very fast movement speed. They can go very far. You can spawn 2, create a pair of crawling claws from a single humanoid corpse, or 4 crawling claws from beasts. So if you do it from something like a gnoll or minotaurs, because they have more mass and more meat, I guess you create more claws from it, which is really kind of interesting. We're also going to get access to a few different unique subclass features. Like this one is just the Dread Cultist allows us to conjure our necrotic armaments. Forbidden Lore is also going to give us a +1 to rolls made with Arcana and History, which is really nice. The Dread Overlord, our pact patron, has cursed you with Profane Knowledge, and also gives you the ability to create the Crawling Claws. We also get this ability, which is this Shield of Souls thing here. It explains initially adding a +1 to your armor class until long rest, which is really great. And we have Binder of Lost Souls. Your ability to inflict Night of the Living Dead is limited by your current minion points, a maximum of 1. Night of the Lost Souls is an effect that we're going to apply to our enemies when we hit them with our weapon, or just damage them in any way that is going to help turn them into more undead and more summons for us to use in combat. For our cantrips, we are going to start by taking Eldritch Blast and either Bone Chill or Mage Hand or Friends. I'm rolling with Green Flame Blade myself because this mod is compatible with Mistress Spell mod, and I love adding more damage riders. For our first spells, we're going to take Armor of Agathis and Hex. This is going to just help us do more damage with our attacks at early levels, and it's also going to help give us a little bit more defense at the early levels and do some more damage kind of reflectively. For our starting weapon, you can take whatever you want here. It's pretty open. They all behave similarly and have similar effects. I'm going to go with the Skull Flail because I think it's really cool. You get a Skull Flail. Yeah. For our abilities, we want to max out our Charisma. This is our spellcasting modifier and also our attack rolls too. So we want it as high as possible. 17 if you plan to take the hair, and 16 if you don't. We also want 16 Constitution for extra health and to help with concentration rolls. 14 Dex is perfect for armor class and initiative boosts. 8 Strength and 10 Wisdom are also fine for us. For your skill proficiencies, you can kind of take whatever you think will help you. I always like taking something like Intimidation is really great, or Deception is another really good one that this character can take. Most of these other ones are helpful at times. So we're actually going to go with intimidation and deception because we love social roles. At level 2, we're going to get another spell. At this level, you can take pretty much whatever you want. Inflict wounds is great damage, so we'll take that. For our Eldritch invocations, ignore all these extra ones that I have in here. I have a bunch that are available from other mods. But we are going to take Agonizing Blast for the bonus to the Eldritch Blast damage. This one is going to add our Charisma modifier to our Eldritch Blast damage, which is really great. And we're also going to take Double Sight because it's going to give us 24 meters of dark vision in magical and non-magical darkness. So awesome to have. At level 3, we are going to get a new spell, and this time around, we're going to take Hold Person. It's a really great spell. It really also benefits us because we can cast it on our enemies, and then our claws will then swarm and surround them, and just get crits all day. So it's really awesome. We're also going to get a Pact Boon, and this time, we are going to take the Pact of the Chain. This is really great because it's going to give us access to a new summon that is the Hound of Andrus. It doesn't show it in here anywhere. But it's a really cool undead hound summon that can eventually summon its own 2 spectral dogs in combat, which is really cool. It just adds a whole bunch of extra summons for us to be able to summon. I'm saying summon a lot, but who cares? This class is all about summons, so I'm going to say it a lot. You could take the Pact of the Blade if you want for extra damage rolls, but we're doing so much with our summons that you might as well go for more and do Pact of the Chain. Pact of the Tome is nice. But it really doesn't benefit us too great, so I'm going to go with Pact of the Chain here. At level 4, we're going to get another cantrip. Here you can take whatever one you didn't take last time. You can take Bone Chill or Mage Hand, Resistance, not Resistance, Blade Ward. It's really up to you. Just because I want to have fun, I'm going to take True Strike. For our spells, we're going to go with Mirror Image. This is a great one. Especially since it doesn't use concentration, so it's basically just going to give us 3 illusory duplicates of ourselves that will distract attackers. Each duplicate increases your armor class by 3, so you have suddenly a +9, and it doesn't require concentration or anything. They just go away when you get hit, but that's still a great spell. One of my favorites in the game. For our first feat, we're going to take an ability score improvement for 2 points into Charisma, and at this point in the game, you'll be getting close to having 20. If you have the hair. We'll get it probably at level 5 or 6. At level 5, we're going to get a really nice power boost. First up, we're going to be able to summon undead basically whenever we want. We get Summoner of the Damned. You know the spell Animate Dead, which you may cast at will. So it doesn't cost a spell slot, doesn't cost anything. We can just do it. This is really awesome because we're going to be burning through our undead summons, and awesome to be able to spawn more of them. And fuel just kind of if an enemy dies, throw another one out. If an enemy dies, throw another one out. If an enemy dies, throw another one out. It's really great. And then Binder of Lost Souls. You have a minion points maximum of 2. You may create up to 4 Crawling Claws from the spell. Create Crawling Claws at one time. 8 from Beasts. So now you can spawn a ton of these claws and just have literal swarms of hands and other undead kind of... It's going to get crazy. Our Unholy Pacts, we're going to get Deep Impact here and the Pact of the Chains. Andrus the Devil Dog gains increased movement speed, so it can move even farther, which is really awesome to have. And for our spells here, we're going to take Spirit Guardians. Spirit Guardians is awesome to have. Most Warlocks don't gain access to this, but this one does. And we're going to use the necrotic version of this spell, which is so much fun. And has really great synergy with our build. For our invocation, we're going to grab the Repelling Blast, because this one is going to help us push with our Eldritch Blast, and pushing is awesome. Pushing is underrated, and it's still pretty highly rated. So, I like having fun with it. At level 6, we're going to get Improved Soul Harvest, which is just going to make our... there's a lot of text here, and a lot of... whoa. The main thing that we have here is it's going to improve our Shield of Souls by 1, and it's going to allow us to do a bunch of other things with basically it's just going to give us an empowered soul shield is the main aspect here. We're also going to get Unholy Vigor, which is going to make us resistant to necrotic damage, which is really awesome because there's a lot of necrotic damage that happens around the end of Act 2 and throughout the rest of the game too. We're also going to get, when you imbue your weapon with necrotic armaments, which you're going to do pretty much all the time in combat, you get filled with Unholy Vigor, making you immune to necrotic damage for a short time. So that's awesome. Especially since there is so much extra necrotic damage going around. For our spells, we're going to take Counterspell, just as an oh shit spell. We don't want to have to use it much, but it's nice to have. If you want to, you can also shift out some spells here. But I like everything that we have so far, so I'm not going to. At level 7, we get Summoner of the Damned, an ability which allows us to summon a skeletal warlock without expending a warlock spell slot once per long rest. This is a really great ability because the skeletal warlock is so good. It can cast Slow, Scorching Ray, Ray of Sickness, a bunch of other spells, and it even has its own spell slots. We also get a boost to how many summons we can spawn at a time, so that's really awesome. For our spell, we are going to take Death Ward because that is a really awesome spell to grab. Death Ward is going to enable us to just use it on one of our friends or ourselves, and the next time the damage would reduce it to 0 hit points, it remains conscious with 1 hit point left. You could also use this on one of your undead summons, and just have them not die as easily. For our invocation here, we're going to take Dreadful Word. Dreadful Word is really awesome because it gives us the Confusion spell, and I love Confusion spell. It's really great, one of the best crowd control spells in the game. At this point, we're actually going to replace a spell, and we are going to trade out Hex, so we don't really need it that much anymore, and we're going to put in Dimension Door. This is a really awesome spell, and if you had Misty Step, you could also replace Misty Step with Dimension Door. Basically, as soon as you have access to Dimension Door, you're going to want to grab it, because it's just a really great one, and if you have Misty Step already, then it's an immediate upgrade. At level 8, we are going to get an improved pact with our Dread Overlord, and for the Pact of the Chain, we are going to get Andros the Devil Dog gains Battle Buddies forever, allowing him to summon Ghost Dogs to his aid. So now we get our normal dog plus 2 extra spectral dogs that, because they are ghosts, can occupy the same space with each other, which is really great. We are going to gain a new spell, and this time around we are going to grab Hunger of Hadar. This is a really great spell that is one of the best crowd control spells in the game. It just applies darkness and does damage to enemies, both cold and acid damage, depending on where they are in their turn. For our feat, we are going to take Warcaster, because we have a lot of spells that we are going to concentrate on. Most of our kit is kind of built around concentrating, so we're going to want to grab Warcaster for the advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration. At level 9, our Animate Dead spell gets another upgrade to include Ghouls and Flying Ghouls. Really awesome, and one of the other bonuses that we get is we get the Binder of Lost Souls. Our minion points increases to 3. We can summon 3 Flying Ghouls at a time. Really great. Same with our Crawling Claws. That's such a weird word to say. You can get 6 from the spell. You get 3 from each enemy. We are also going to get access to 5th level spells, and now is a great time to point out that our undead summons are also immune to poison damage. So something that we can do is cast Cloud Kill, and your undead can fight in it without taking damage. It's kind of like Darkness, but for undead, which is really awesome. So we're definitely going to take Cloud Kill. We're also going to grab an Eldritch Invocation, and this time we are going to take Minions of Chaos, because we can conjure an elemental, and that just gives us more summons. Really awesome. This build is focused on summons, so why not take more? We are also going to replace a spell this level. This time we are going to trade out Hold Person in exchange for a Hold Monster, just because, for the same reason that we did Misty Step to Dimension Door, you can do Hold Person to Hold Monster, because if we're going to be upcasting Hold Person to 5th level, why not just get Hold Monster anyway, because then you can affect more types of creatures with it. At level 10, we can now summon a Skeletal Giant. Skeletal Giant is really freaking awesome. It's a super powerful summon with a ton of health and a giant scythe. Our Soul Harvest is also going to get an upgrade, so we can have a +1 to our, or an additional +1 on top of it. I think we were at +2 before, now we're at +3. We're also going to get a new ability called the Shroud de Eternus Vitae. Wield a vampiric shroud that absorbs the vitality of nearby living enemies. Its dark tendrils inflict 1 to 6 necrotic damage to enemies and heal you for 1 to 6 hit points per turn. The shroud persists until your next long rest. So basically, you just kind of spawn this necrotic aura around you that hurts enemies and heals you. Really awesome. This is really going to help give us some more sustainability and keep us alive for longer. We're also going to grab a new cantrip, and at this level you can take pretty much whatever you want. For our spells, we're going to grab Contagion. This is a really awesome spell with a ton of different possibilities. You poison a target and possibly inflict them with a disease of your choice. You can just, there's a whole bunch of different diseases you can choose. At level 11, we are going to get Create Undead spell, so we can summon a mummy. And we are also going to get access to the Spectral Horror, another summon, which is like this floating demonic skull, which imbues darkness in the area around it and is really cool. It's just a very fun extra summoner or summon ability to have. We're going to get a Mystic Arcanum, and this time we're going to grab the Circle of Death. These are some other ones that I have that are getting brought in from mods, but the main one that we're going to focus on here is Circle of Death. It does necrotic damage, which is going to synergize really well with our build and our equipment. It does a ton of damage, 86 necrotic, really awesome to do in a huge AoE, and we can cast it once per long rest. For our spell here, we're going to take whatever you kind of want. I'm going to grab Blight just for fun, because it's a more necrotic damage. And finally, at level 12, we're going to get one last spell. Here, we can take pretty much whatever we want. I'm going to go with Fear, just because it'll mesh with one of our shield options really well. And for our Eldritch Invocations, I am going to take... you can kind of take whatever you want here. I'm going to go with the one with Shadows, just because it's another oh shit spell in case of emergency. You can just kind of become invisible as long as you want until long rest. So if shit hits the fan, you can just kind of say, not me, I'm out, and disappear, which is really helpful in honor mode if you're doing that solo Dark Urge run. And we're going to take our last feat, which is going to give us... if you didn't take the hair, you can take an ability improvement here. But what I'm going to do, because I'm running a build that does the hair, is I'm going to take Spell Sniper to increase our chance of critting with our Eldritch Blast. I'm also going to take a new cantrip. You can take whatever you want. I'm going to go with Shocking Grasp just for fun. So now, let's take a look at our gear and equipment. So for this build, we have a couple options for gear, but we definitely have some things that we want to kind of hone in on. And one of those first things we want to hone in on is that the Circle of Bones is a must. Since we are going to have tons and tons, like over 20 at some points, undead summons, we're going to want this. The main ability here is Undead Ward. Allied undead within 6 meters are resistant to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing damage. This means that anything that's within range of us, that's kind of within that 6 meter range, is all of our undead are going to take a lot less damage. You can see there I also have Lich Form. That's another mod that's added into my game. I have a ton of mods in my game. You don't want to know what my game file looks like. For our cape here, we're going to use the Cloak of Protection, because as a caster who mostly wears light armor, actually specifically we're not going to wear armor at all, we're going to want to get as many boosts to our armor class as possible, and the Cloak of Protection is one way to do that. We're going to get the armor class +1 and a saving throw +1. For our clothing, we're going to use the Robe of Supreme Defenses. While concentrating, you add your spellcasting ability modifier to your saving throws and gain a +1 bonus to armor class. This is going to help us maintain our concentration once we're in combat, because we're going to be doing a lot of melee damage, but also holding concentration on things like Spirit Guardians. It's also going to give us a +1 to armor class, which is really awesome to have while we're concentrating, because we'll get hit less often. We're also going to use the Bracer Defense to give us a +2 to armor class as long as you're not wearing armor or holding a shield, which we're not doing. Boom, easy +2. For our boots, you can use, since this class does have access to medium armor, we're going to use the Boots of Persistence, which allows us to gain freedom of movement and long strider, and get a +1 to our dexterity saving throws. But the main thing here is the freedom of movement and the long strider, which is just going to give us a lot of extra mobility. For our amulet, you're going to use the Amulet of the Devout, which is going to give us a +1 bonus to our spell save DC. This is really awesome, especially since most of our things are using spell save DC, so this is kind of our best in slot amulet. It also gives you the God Swill, gain additional use to your channel divinity. We're not a cleric, so we don't get that. Oh well. We're also going to use the Crypt Lord ring, which is going to give us an extra use of the Create Undead spell once per day, so we can have 2 mummies separately, which is really awesome. And we're also going to use the Ring of Protection to give us a +1 to armor class and saving throw, which makes our Cloak of Protection and our Ring of Protection combo complete. We get +2 to both. Really invaluable there. For our weapons, at the beginning of the game, you're going to want to use your Skull Flail. It's really great to have an extra weapon that does your spellcasting ability modifier to your attack rolls in the early game. That'll help you do extra damage. But as we advance towards Act 3, we're going to want to grab the Staff of Cherished Necromancy. This is our best in slot staff, and is going to give us 2 really great abilities. It's also going to give us a +2 to weapon enchantment, which is really nice, but we're going to get heightened necromancy. Creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against your necromancy spells. A lot of our spells are necromancy spells, especially our higher level ones. This is really great to have so that we can just do extra damage. Ensure that our spells are hitting as hard as they can. We're also going to get Life Essence Harvest. When the wielder kills a hostile creature with a spell, they greedily absorb its energy and gain Life Essence until their long rest. And if we look here, Life Essence is going to give us, it can use that essence to cast any necromancy spell without consuming a spell slot. So it gives you free spells, which is really awesome, especially since we are warlocks and we don't get access to a ton of spell slots, so we can use extra spell slots. Really great ability to have. We could also use the Amulet of Greater Health instead of the Amulet of the Devout, but I like getting the +2 to spell save DC. It's really awesome, but you could go for more health if you want. The main reason that I don't roll with this is because we're going to have so many summons that we're not going to get hit very often. There are going to be more targets to hit that we're just not going to be getting hit very often. It's not going to be terrible for us. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do, at least when you're at this level, when you exit combat, is you're going, or when you start your kind of journey for the day, is you're going to want to activate your Shield of Souls. Greater Shield of Souls at this level. This is going to give us our boost to +1 to armor class until long rest. 3 additional souls may be bound to the soul shield. So if you bound more souls to it, then you can get it to a +4, it looks like. We're also going to activate our Shroud de Eternus Ve. This is just going to turn on our aura, which is everything within this kind of range is going to take damage and heal us a bit, which is really awesome because we're going to be getting up close and personal. We're also going to conjure our elemental, and to do that we are going to go with the fire elemental just because it sounds fun. Oh, I forgot I'm rolling with infinite spellcasting turned on. So now we need to summon a bunch of undead, and we don't really have many ways to do it. But one thing we can do, well, we don't really have many ways to do it because we don't have a lot of bodies, but the way we can do that is just go ahead and kill a bunch of civilians. They won't mind. Hey, who did that? Oh, it's Flaming Fist. Let's kill him. Oh my god. I just aggroed the whole Flaming Fist. Uh-oh. We are then going to spawn our Spectral Horror. You can see here we kind of get our floating spectral demonic head. This spectral item here is going to have spawn Shadow Tendrils, which is manifest a tentacle of shadows in an area that can strike and grapple foes. This is really awesome because you can grapple an enemy and you can just kind of spawn it wherever you want it to go, and it'll be this cool little shadowy tentacle, which will also benefit from your undead ward. You're also going to get Possessed Creature with this thing, which is going to allow you to possess any random enemy that you want. Kind of like Dominate Person, but for 3 turns, and it uses a Charisma save, so really awesome. Next, we are going to want to use our Find Familiar spell so that we can conjure our Devil Dog. And as you can see here, we've got Andrus the Devil Dog. Andrus the Devil Dog is able to spawn in his Summon Ghostly Fire team, and also has a little Ghostly Step, which is kind of like your dog's version of Misty Step. And you also get Terrifying Howl, which is a huge area of effect that frightens enemies, beasts, and humanoids that hear it. Really cool to have. Okay, so now that we have some bodies, or a body, maybe, let's start by spawning our Skeletal Giant. Boom! We have a giant. Let's redo this. Let's call him back in.
It's been a long day. I need to rest soon.
No. Also going to spawn in a Skeletal Warlock.
That should work.
Now you can see this Warlock. So first we have this Giant. The Giant can do a Gargantuan Strike, 1d10 plus 6 slashing damage and 1d force, and he can do its little AoE. You also have Grim Cleave, which is obviously a cleave. We have Brush Attack, Lacerate, and a Brutal Leap, which knocks enemies prone. And the Warlock has Bone Chill, Hell's Ray of Sickness, Ray of Enfeeblement, Scorching Ray, Sleep, Corruption and Range Attack. It can also use Death Ward without using a spell slot, Slow without using a spell slot, and it has 3 spell slots at level 2 to be able to cast these spells with. Well, now that the Flaming Fist is gone, we can just create our own bodies, and to do that, I'm just gonna blast some civilians because I am... Oh, here they come. Okay, so now that we have some bodies, we've killed a few people, we're going to use our Animate Dead, and we're going to spawn 3 flying ghouls. 1. Oh, it can't be reanimated. I hate when it does that. 2. And 3. Now we have 3 ghouls. Now we can go find some more bodies. Where do we want to find them? There's one up here. We're going to use this body to create us a mummy. Then we're going to come down here. Let's respawn Devil Dog.
Let's go to Calm's guns. She has the most fabulous scent.
Well, let's get some more bodies, because I need more. Okay. So now we're going to use Falling Claws to get some Flaming Fist right here. Well, good timing. I just spawned in my hands. Now we have a full army. This is all us here. We're going to start by using our Spectre, it looks like. Spectre is going to come over here and show him what he's missing. We're also going to spawn in... It's not working today for some reason. Now we have our dog, and our dog has spawned his 2 friends. But first, we're going to come over here. Start attacking. And we get 2 attacks with our dog. They don't do tons of damage, but we have so many summons that it kind of doesn't matter. We have these 2 dogs are being operated by themselves. If you couldn't tell, this is opportunity attack heaven right here. We're taking a lot of damage here because it was the volley. They're attacking us all in a group with an AoE. But because we have our what do you call it? Our undead ward. We are going to. They all have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. So they're all taking a lot less damage than they normally would. So now we're going to take this guy and we're going to have him run over here. Critical hit for 21 damage. Heck yeah. That's our good dog. Heck yeah, doggy boy. Have another ghoul. That ghoul to go attack. Boom. Another ghoul. Let's have her get this wizard. Paralyzed. Once the enemies are paralyzed, you get access to Devour, bite a knocked out, prone, or sleeping target. It deals 6 to 33 slashing damage, so you get basically an extra thing. It attacks and it heals you, so you can keep them alive for longer. We have also already used our bonus action for this round, but we have a couple undead that are about to die, so we can reclaim them. We're going to reclaim this skeletal warlock, actually. I can't reclaim him. Okay, well, let's not do it then. Let's give ourselves our necrotic armaments. And we're going to use our skeletal warlock to try to death ward for actually no, let's just have him do this. Let's have him do this. Yeah, we can do that. Scorching Ray, easy, kill her. Now we still have our bonus action. We can corrupt ranged weapon attack. Pretty cool. Here comes all our hands crawling and creeping. That one got a crit miss, but that's okay. That one got a hit, 3 and 4. So they're not doing a ton of damage, but there's so many of them that it doesn't matter. We've got our elemental here, just for fun. We're going to take our elemental and multi-attack. Yes, miss. That's okay. Hands. And we have our mummy. We're going to show that the mummy can do Dreadful Glare, which is a really awesome ability. We can use that as just frighten our enemy. Boom. Got utility, so you can either have them attack or you can have them do more hand. Critical miss, oh well. And the great thing about all these summons is that they're also going to take aggro from you, so you're a lot less likely to take any damage from any attacks that come in. Unless it's an AoE that's going for everyone. So here, we're going to do this. I'm really tired of this archer, so I'm going to Brutal Leap over here and knock him prone. I did lose my Undead Ward. Oh, he saved from that, but we can still do this. Multi-attack. Awesome. And we still have our extra attack for the round, so we're going to Gargantuan Strike. Boom, and he's dead. Now we can run back over. And get our Undead Ward back. Who are you best curing the wounds on? There's nobody else to cure besides you. They're all dead. By my hand. Can't reach? Yes, but I can do that. Now he's been possessed. Heck yeah. Now doggy, go for a bite. Bite again, if I can see him. Our spectral dogs will run in there. Nice. Got this guy. Go ahead and hit him. Got our other spectral dog coming in. Heck yeah. Now we have a bunch more bodies. You know what that means.
No one stopped me yet.
Let's summon in some more dead people.
Every substance has been tried and tested by yours.
Other body. We go. We just refresh them more than anything.
Almost painfully.
Them back to full health.
My body
But as you can see, we just have an army of undead behind us.
none of them.
They are just going to absolutely demolish everything that they come across. We have a literal army just following us. Our two dogs just disappeared, but we still have our main dog. We have our spectral horror back here, our mummy. We've got our warlock, our giant, 3 flying ghouls. It's really insane. We get our dog back. The amount of summons we can get on this build is absolutely crazy. It's so much fun, and I really encourage you guys to go ahead and mess around with this some more. There's probably more to it that I haven't even figured out yet myself. But that should do it for this build today. What do you think of the Dread Overlord Warlock? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much, and have a fantastic day.